Okay, so in this video we are going to discuss digital multimeters, okay, and types of meters which are available. Okay, so first we will discuss a little bit about digital multimeters. Okay, we have already seen the block diagram for digital multimeter last video, right? So here we will see the types of meters which are available. Okay. Mm. So first point which you see here, okay, it discusses what is the difference between analog meters, okay, and digital meters. So analog meters does not require power supply, okay. That means if you have the analog meters, okay, if you just connect that in the circuit, it will automatically take a reading, okay, or it will indicate the value. Whereas in digital meters, you require a internal power supply. So if you see this one. Mm. Okay, so if you see this one, okay, it has an internal 9-volt battery, okay, for its operation. It is a digital multimeter, okay, and requires internal battery for its operation, okay, for its display and all the readings, okay. Then if you see the second one, okay, your analog meters give better visual indication, okay, with respect to changes that is happening in the value that you are reading. If your voltage is changing very fast, okay, that changes you can see in your analog meter, okay, by observing the needle. Whereas in digital meters what happens, it is not like that, okay. It requires you can say the reading will not change that fast, okay. It depends on what is your sample and hold circuit, okay. If you remember your analog to digital converter, you have a sample and hold circuit, and then that analog to digital conversion will happen. So depending on what type of ADC you are using, okay, this reading will change. So these points you have to remember. The next is it suffers less from electric noise and isolation problems. Okay, these meters are simple and inexpensive. So if you take any analog meter, okay, it will be normally inexpensive. That means it will be cheap. Whereas if you take digital meters, it will have more circuitry, okay, so it will be like more expensive when compared with analog meters. Okay, so this points you have to remember. One advantage of using digital meter is that it will you can say eliminate parallax error, right? So this point which is there, okay, they give a unambiguous reading at greater viewing distances. That means whatever reading you have here, okay, you will be able to observe this reading, okay, even if you are standing like 2 or 3 steps, okay, away. Whereas for analog meters it is not like that. You have to go close to the meter and then observe the reading. Okay, so this is important point. The next is there are three types of meters, okay, digital meters or types of digital meters: panel meters, bench type meters, and system meters. Okay, panel meter means they will be like having 6 or 7 displays, okay, like a panel, and they will be connected in a like factory or something where there are more than 5 or 6 readings that you want to take. Bench type meters means something like this, okay, something that you can use daily, or you can put it on a bench, okay, and use it like this digital multimeter. And system meters normally contains a what is called as a microprocessor, okay. It can do many different things, okay. It can add the readings, okay, or it can take you can say difference of two readings, okay, automatically. So it contains a microprocessor which you can use to do manipulation on the readings that you take using the meter. Okay, we'll discuss details of these three. Okay, but just know that digital meters comes in three types: panel meters, bench type meters, and system meters. Okay, and obviously it requires an analog to digital converter. Okay, all digital meters employ a analog to digital converter and requires a readout. So this is points you have to remember. Okay, next is digital panel meters. Okay, first type. So it will look like this. Okay, there will be a panel, okay, where there are different quantities which we shown here. Now here you can see the first one which you see is voltage. Okay, V is written, right? second one is also voltage, third one is also voltage, fourth is also voltage. Here there is a current, okay, and these three are also voltages. This is showing voltage as well as current. So how it is normally used is that there will be connections, okay. Mm. Okay, then like this will be in turn connected to some circuit. Let us say circuit 1. This will be connected to some other circuit, okay, circuit 2. This third one will be connected to circuit 3, okay, and so on. So this one panel is able to tell you, okay, readings of different circuits, okay, at one spot. So just by standing here, you should be able to observe voltages at different points. Okay, voltages at different points. Okay, in your you can say experiment. Okay, normally this type of meters, okay, they will be used in industry, where there are different points where you want to check the readings. Okay, and if there is any you can say mismatch, then you should be able to immediately go and make changes. Okay, it is easy to understand if it is displayed parallelly, right? If you had only one multimeter, then you cannot observe four readings at the same time. Okay, that is why these panel meters are used to see different spots at the same time. Hmm. Then you can see here digital panometers are available in wide variety of special purpose functions. They have a readout range of 3 digits. Okay, 3 digits means you can see here it is written 220, okay, and 4 and 3/4 digits. Okay, like it will be having 4 digits. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the first one will be 3/4. Okay, that means it will be half display. We will discuss what is half display, but try to understand, okay, how it will be arranged. It will be 4 full, you can see, digits, and this one will be 3/4. Okay, that means it cannot display all the values. Okay, that is why it is called as 3/4. Okay, or you can see here it is written this one which is there, right? Here you can see, okay, it is 3, 4 and 3/4 digits. Okay, so this 4 9s are there which are from 0 to 9 you can display, but this is only till 3. Okay, so you can only display 0, 1, 2 and 3 like that. Okay, so we will discuss detail what are the digits. Okay, but try to remember this details about digital panel meters. It ranges from 3 digits to 4 and 3/4 digits. Okay, then the input are accept that you can accept voltage. Okay, you can see here. Okay, it can accept voltage, which you can see here. Then it can accept AC voltage, line voltage, strain gauge. Okay, then temperature detector. Okay, this RTD stands for resistance temperature detectors. Okay, then thermocouples. Okay, many types of readings you can display on the panel meters. Okay, you may have to change this. Now here all voltages are shown, but you can add a display which shows line voltage like 230 volts. So all of this you can do. Then next is these meters are obtained with the tri-state binary coded decimal output. Okay, tri-state means it will have either one, okay, like binary you have only 0 and 1, right? In this tri-state you will have 0, 1 and high impedance. Okay, so that high impedance is there when your connection is not connected. Okay, this is written here. Okay, high impedance or disconnected state. Okay, 0 means not connected, 1 means connected, right? High impedance means it is neither on nor off. Okay, so that you can see in your digital logic. So this point you have to remember that these meters, okay, come in tri-state output. Okay, tri-state output. You know, one panel meter, okay, shown here. Okay, this is available in your textbook. Okay, so this meter which is there, okay, like you, if you are able to remember, you remember it. Okay, so this gives the internal resistance. Okay, or you can say the input resistance of 10 raised to 9 ohms. Okay, resolution of 10 microvolts. Then the reading accuracy is 0.005%. Okay, and it uses a dual slope ADC. Okay, so all these points you have to remember. What is the internal resistance? What is the you can say resolution? Then what is the accuracy and what type of ADC is used? Okay, now small things you can observe is there is a 5-volt power supply, then there is a floating power supply. Floating power supply means it can give from plus 15 volts to minus 15 volts of voltage. Okay, so all this, then there is a display here, you can see. Okay, now this display which you see here is 4 which are full, 999 you can see, right? This is 4 full and 3/4 which is this one. Okay, so it can go from 00000 to 39999. Okay, like this. The next type of meter which you have is a bench type. Okay, bench type means which you can keep it on a bench and take a reading. One example which I have shown here is this one. Now this is an analog meter, okay, and it doesn't require a battery inside. And you can see here there is a needle, okay, and there it indicates a DC voltage. Okay, there is a dash that indicates a DC voltage. So it can measure from some 0 to 15 volts or 0 to 3 volts depending on what panel you are using. Okay, what panel you are using. There are two reds and one black. So if you use these two, okay, I think you will be able to use 0 to 3. If you use this one and this one, then you will be able to use 0 to 15. Okay, depends. Okay, and the second one which is there is your digital meter. Okay, it requires an internal battery. Then points what you have to remember is bench type meters, okay, range from inexpensive handheld units, okay, 3.5-digit display, okay, 0.5 accuracy to 5.5 digit display, okay, with 1 microvolt resolution. Okay, so it depends what application you are using it for. If it is a very important application, then you may go to high, you can say, precision device like this one, 5.5-digit display. If it is something very you can say small experiment, then you can use a normal digital meter. Then digital nanometers are also there, okay, are designed to measure extremely low voltages, and they provide resolution down to 10 nanovolts. Okay, now what do you mean by resolution of 10 nanovolts is that if there is a change of 10 nanovolts in your reading, then that will be displayed. Okay, if it is changing by 10 nanovolts. Okay, now nano means 10 raised to minus 9. Okay, so if there is a small change of 10 raised to minus 9, okay, 10 into 10 raised to minus 9, then that change will be observable. You can observe that change on the meter. Okay, and that is called as a digital nanometer. Then there is digital picometer. Okay, pico ammeter. Okay, pico ammeter. The previous one was nano voltmeter. The pico ammeter, what it does, it takes currents till value of 1 picoampere. Okay, now 1 picoampere means 10 raised to minus 12. Okay, 10 raised to minus 12 is pico. Okay, so till that range of current it can observe the value. So these 2 points to remember. There is nano voltmeter which gives range of 10 nanovolts, and picoammeter which gives range of 1 picoampere. Then when extremely high resistances are required, okay, then you can use a what is called as electrometer. Okay, electrometer, okay, which can give out readings of 10 raised to minus 17 ampere, then 10 raised to microvolts, 1 femto charge, and a resistance of 200 tera ohms. Okay, 200 tera ohms. So all of this is there, okay, with respect to digital electrometer. So these values, if you can remember, you have to remember. Okay, what is a digital nanometer? What is a digital picometer? Okay, if you want a very high resistance, or if your circuit requires a very high resistance, then you use a electrometer. Okay, and this electrometer gives a resistance of 10 raised to, you can say 200 tera ohms. Okay, 200 tera ohms. So these points you have to remember. The last one is system type meters. Okay, system type DVM or multimeters. Okay, DVM is voltage meter and multimeter means DMM. Okay, are designed to provide a basic A to D conversion functions in data systems assembled by interfacing various peripheral devices with DVM capabilities, and their costs vary widely. Okay, a microprocessor will be used, okay, to provide several mathematical functions in addition to managing the meter operation. Okay, so this system type meters, what they will do is that they will have mathematical functions like addition, subtraction, which you can do between two different readings. Okay, two different readings, you can add them or you can subtract them. Okay, that functionality is available with system type meters. Then it will use a dual slope converter, okay, dual slope ADC, okay, with selectable integration times. Okay, so like two classes or three classes before, we have discussed one ramp technique and then dual slope ramp technique, right? So in dual slope ramp technique, what you had, you will charge it for a fixed amount of time and it will discharge depending on what is the reference voltage. So this integration time or the charging time T1, okay, that you can change in this dual slope ADC. Hmm? Then the maximum speed, okay, 330 readings per second. Okay, accuracy is 0.1%, while 0.57 readings per second gives, okay, a 6 by half digit resolution and 0.001% of accuracy. Okay, so depending on what application you have, if you want a max speed, okay, then your accuracy is around 0.1, and if you are having like 0.57 readings, okay, per second, okay, then your accuracy will be more like 0.001%. Okay, depends. Depends on what application you have. You can change the meter depending on what application you are using. Okay, now last point, what type of functionalities the system type meters will have. Then first function that all can say system meters will have is a null function. Null function means once you press that, it will calibrate the meter to point to zero. Okay, point to zero. Then next is first reading is subtracted from each successive reading and the difference is displayed, right? So two readings you can subtract, okay, whereas the first reading can be manually entered from the keyboard. Hmm? The next function is the function stat accumulates readings and calculates mean and variance, right? So let us say if you are doing one experiment and you want to see the 10 values average, okay, mean, you can say you want to see the mean of 10 values, then this stat operation you can use to take 10 readings, okay, and after you take 10 readings, the mean of that will be displayed, okay, statistics. Then with the DBM, okay, the user enter a resistance and then all readings are displayed as power dissipated in R in this decibel units. Okay, so if you want to understand how much power will be dissipated, okay, with respect to what resistance, okay, then you can use this functionality DBM. Then there is a THMS Fahrenheit, okay, it gives the temperature of a thermistor probe, okay, using this function. Then there is a function x minus z by y, okay, provides offsetting and scaling with user entered z and y, okay, constants, where x is the reading. Like in your calculator you have different functionalities, right? Like equations you can solve in calculator, same way in this system type meter you can have this functionality x minus z divided by y. Okay, so you can give a constant values for z and y and x will be your reading, and you can calculate whatever function you want. Okay, z and y you can choose, x is the reading. Same way you can get this 100 into x minus y divided by y. Okay, this determines the percentage deviation. Okay, this is one function. And 20 log x by y displays x in decibels. Okay, that also you may be requiring. Okay, sometimes in frequency domain you may want to display it in decibels. Okay, so that is done using this functionality. Okay, and again your system meters will have an internal RAM, okay, which stores these results, okay, like storing of mean and variance, okay, that could use a RAM. Hmm? So these points you have to remember.